we're back. We're here at the shop of God. Alright, so went ahead and pulled it off the truck. Here it is. I've went ahead and pulled this off too. It's not very hard to pull this off of this truck. These two spots right here is where your fuel lines go in, and you have to take those off to get this off. So we took this off. You just pull the wires off of these. You got some vacuum lines, throttle cables and such. Nothing major. It only takes a few minutes to pull them off. There's 3 bolts. One here, here, and here. And you pull those off and pull them out for your fuel lines, and this just pops right off. Of course, my gasket fell apart, so I don't have another one, so we'll just make one. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up, but it's pretty nasty. So we're going to take this apart. Once you pull this top piece off, it's kind of an odd deal here. It all comes apart. When you pull this apart, this is spring loaded inside of here, and you got 4 bolts. So if you do pull it apart, just be mindful there is a spring in there. It's nothing major, but you wouldn't want it flying across the room if you was just solely taking it apart, because you probably won't find it. So we're going to just pull this apart and see what she looks like. Alrighty, so we're going to take these bolts out of the top. Some of these are very aggravating to get loose. Very aggravating. Alright, so I've had to finesse a few of these to get them off. They get a little stuck. Wish they'd have made the star driver part another size up. That would have been great. Now generally I think all these screws are the same size. I believe. No. Okay, so the ones the injectors are shorter. Self-evident really. You don't want one sticking out a ½ inch below the bottom. That's pretty self-explanatory. Which I've took this one apart before, but it's been a while back when I did have to take it apart. That's one of the reasons why I like these old trucks, because they're pretty simple to work on. It's not really anything very majorly difficult to do. So this part is pretty simple. And luckily I believe I have a gasket for that. Okay, so you pull the boot off. They just pop right off. Okay, so your injector is inside of here. And you don't want to be extremely rough with these. Because they do have an O-ring on them. So you don't want to get too wild with that. They have O-ring at the bottom. And there's your screen for your fuel. And your O-ring right there. So it's nothing major. So we'll just take a look. It looks pretty clean in there. It's pretty clean. It's not very dirty. So let's see if we can pull the other one out. Okay. As you can see, they're both pretty clean, so we don't have to do much in there. I have changed the injectors in it before, so I thought it might fix it, but it don't. So, you know, it looks pretty clean. There's not much gunk or anything. It's pretty clean, so we're just going to we're just going to set these back in. When you put the ring back on it, you just seat the ring back like that. And it's best to make sure that this O-ring at the bottom isn't torn and that it is wet with at least some gas or something, so that way you don't rip it, because if you rip it you'll leak gas and you have to pull it back off. Try to figure out what the deal is. So just as long as it's clean and it isn't bad, it'll be fine. So just when you set these in there, they just sit down in there like that. They just pretty much are even with the bottom. No spectacular feature there. So now we get into the business end of the deal here. Alright, so as you can see, this part, it's got a little spring in there, so hopefully we can get this open fairly easy without too much of a struggle. So all I'm going to do is loosen these bolts. I'm not going to take them off at the second, because there is a spring in there. It's not loaded pretty bad. It's not loaded too heavily, but you know, I still don't want it to go flying across the room. Not my cup of tea for today anyways. So, let me get this, wrong one. Get this off. Alright. So I'm just got them all loose. I can feel the spring pushing out, so that's nothing big heavy. You just don't want to go flying across your shop. Lose it if that's the only one you have. You know, our $50 kit come with one. I've got one left in there, but like I say, it's not real bad, but it will wear your thumb out quickly. It's already getting, unless they got this one heavy duty. Okay, so here it is. It's a little dirty in there. We'll clean that out. Here's your spring. Here's your diaphragm. It's not real bad. There is some rust, some you know, some deposits. So that, you know, that may have something to do with it being you know, not wanting to run right. So, but here's the spring. As you can see, it's a little rusty. It's not on the up and up. So we'll get those cleaned out with a die grinder. See if we can get this cleaned out here. Okay, so we got a little bit out. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. So let's go get our gasket set. So now there's a new spring. I'm not really sure why this one is much larger, much longer than that one, unless somebody stretched it out to try to shut the fuel off. I don't know, but it is what it is. And hopefully he gave me the right one. It looks like it, but sometimes my luck doesn't work out that way. So we have an instruction manual here of what everything goes to. So we did get a new gasket right here. So we did get this new one. This is torn right here, but that's not going to cause our problem. Our problem is too much fuel. So that's the problem that we're having. It's too much fuel, not enough. Which in the case it may be, but generally getting entirely too much fuel. And you know, sometimes it's just like this right here. You know, sometimes, you know, when we've been kind of out and not really paying much attention to what we should be, you know, sometimes we tend to get a little dirty like this, and you know, we finally figure out that you know, God, I'm going through an awful lot right now. You know, I sure could use your help, and you know, he comes and helps us. You know, a lot of times we, you know, and I've done it myself, you know, we get a little bit carried away, and we get back in the world and hanging out with our friends that we know we probably shouldn't. And so here's the thing about getting saved is we all have a conscience. And so when you get saved, all that intensifies. And everything that you do that you know you shouldn't do, everything about that intensifies. It's a lot stronger. So, you know, sometimes the Lord will lead you in areas that you don't want to be, but He's never going to put you in a spot. He will not put you in a spot that will get you hurt, ever. You might think you are, but He's not going to do that. And sometimes we think, well, you know, the Lord wanted me here, when sometimes that's not what He told you. And sometimes we get get to thinking, well, the Lord wanted me here or He wanted me there. And, sometimes you might think He's trying to tell you something when He really is trying to tell you something, but you're not quite paying full attention. And, sometimes you'll end up leading yourself in a place that you don't want to be, thinking that maybe God put me here and now, I'm in danger or something's happening or something like that. God's not ever going to put you in a situation that's going to get you, hurt. But here's the thing, is you have work to do, but reverts back to what I said earlier, that because you follow Him, people are going to mock you and hate you and dislike you. But here's the thing, is love thy neighbor. Love the sinner, not the sin, the sinner. He says that, and it's sometimes it is kind of hard to love someone that's done you wrong. What's even like forgiveness? Forgiveness sometimes is a very, very difficult thing. And, we try to put things in an aspect strange. But sometimes we get carried away with things, and sometimes we don't look at the overall picture like we're supposed to. And I'm just as guilty. I'm just as guilty as the next man about sometimes doing things and saying things that I shouldn't say, and it's all part of human nature, and you're not ever going to get rid of it. You're not ever going to get rid of your human nature. That's something that you will have to deal with, because sometimes you'll get really, really in depth with God, and figuring things out is difficult at times, because sometimes you're like, why am I here? Why here? And sometimes he does it for the good of you and whoever the other person is, and he works in mysterious ways, and I'll admit there's sometimes I wonder why things happen the way that they do, but they just do. You can't hide it, you can't get rid of it, because it's there. And we all fall short of the glory, and that's definitely not what I'm saying. We all fall short. We all always falling short. And sometimes it is difficult to see the right path when things are dark. And I understand, believe me, I've been there. I've been in that dark path. And you just try to figure out what in the world is going on. And sometimes he's doing things behind the scenes that you don't recognize, you don't realize right now. And he's done me the same way. And sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? But hey, it works out sometimes in a benefit that you just had no idea. Take you places you have never been, and it's just remarkable. But like I said in the beginning, it's it's going to rain on everybody. there's going to be days that are rough. There's days you get up and you don't even want to go to work. You don't even want to go to a job that's awful. But hey, I'm going to put it to you like this. You're there for a reason. You're there for a reason. And sometimes he'll put you in places in front of people or around people that you don't want to be around. And, you pray about why are they still here? Why do I still have to deal with them? Well, if you stop and think about it, they are still there for a reason. And they're not going to go away until you have figured out why they're still there. And he's done me the same way. He's going to do, it. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Do not just be lukewarm. Search for him. Look for him. But take it slow. Take it slow. Do not jump in there and just try to go a wall wide open, because, you will get burnt out very quickly. I've done it. And it's not fun, because you get burnt out, you're like on fire, and all of a sudden it's just like somebody throws the brakes on you. And now you're trying to figure out what happened. So it's really just baby steps, because if he, if he showed you everything all at one time, it'd probably scare you. He ain't showed me everything, and he might not. Might not show me everything, but you have to be, just a little bit diligent. Just be a little patient. Be a little patient, and he'll show you things. He'll show you, he'll show you stuff that you didn't think that mattered. He'll show you stuff that you never thought you'd see. He works in mysterious ways, and he is a very, very loving and forgiving God. There's nothing that you can do that will make him turn his back on you. Not a thing. Not one thing. There's nothing you can do. The only thing that you can do that will make him turn away is to die without him. That's it. That's all you do. So, for those of you that don't believe, and I understand that you don't believe in him, but it all comes down to this, guys. I'm not saying that what is fact and what is fiction. Science fiction is, about dragons and things of that nature. We're talking about, if you really, really just stop and put your mind on it. I mean, we are talking about when you die, and, well, let me take that back. When you pass on, when it's your time, it's your end, the end of the road, and you are laid to rest. And, every one of us are going to go through difficult times. Everybody does. I go through difficult times, but spirit of heaviness, put on the garment of praise him. It works, let me tell you. You got to remember that he didn't create us to worry. He didn't create us to, how am I going to get my next meal? But we all do it. We all worry. And I do sometimes. And sometimes I want to kick myself in the teeth for doing that. But it's like, really, you just stop and think about it. Why are we even worried? I mean, he created birds and, the turtles, lizards, chickens, everything. So, but he feeds them with no problems. They worry about nothing. I mean, they don't know like what we do, but they don't worry. They have nothing to worry about. They have absolutely nothing to worry about, and we shouldn't either. But we are humans, and we do things that we do things we shouldn't. Worry, contemplate, you know, the whole 9 yards. We all do it. But at the end of the day, you really have to stop and think about it. Why are we worried? What are you worried about? You know? I mean, honestly, truly, what are you worried about? There's nothing to worry about. You know? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my childhood was great and wonderful, because it ain't. It ain't whatsoever. But you got to remember that He is forgiving. Forgive you for anything. And a lot of times, if we stop and thought about it, that we all sin. You know, of course, doing certain things are, a little out of proportion, but it's really all just, it's all a spiritual battle, so we're the vessel. We're the vessel for God and the devil. So, if you're hanging with God, you are hanging out with the most powerful being in the entire universe. He's the one that created it. I mean, he's God. I mean, what else can you say? And just to